Welcome everybody to my newest MLB The Show 25 franchise, which will lead us right into the launch of MLB 26. I had narrowed my choices down to the Angels and the Giants, and ultimately chose the Angels mostly because they have a lot more draft picks in the first season, and that's very important considering this is a draft-only style franchise, just like my White Sox one from last year. The Los Angeles Angels were founded in 1961 as one of Major League Baseball's first two expansion teams, the Washington Senators being the other team, and the Angels selected Yankee pitcher Eli Gerba with the first pick of the expansion draft. The Angels went 70-91 in their first season and then had their first winning season going 86-76 the very next year. The first playoff appearance, though, didn't happen until 1979 when they lost 3-1 to the Baltimore Orioles. They again lost in the ALCS in 1982 to the Milwaukee Brewers and lost a third time to the Boston Red Sox in 1986. They finally won their first American League pennant in 2002, beating the Twins 4-1, and followed that up with their first World Championship that same season, beating the Barry Bonds-led San Francisco Giants in 7 games. Since that time, they've made 6 more playoff appearances, losing 5 times in the ALDS and losing in the ALCS again in 2009 to the New York Yankees. The Angels have had countless Hall of Famers, superstars, and all-stars throughout their history, such as Nolan Ryan, Rod Carew, Vladimir Guerrero, Frank Tanana, Bobby Grich, Don Baylor, Tim Salmon, Shohei Ohtani, and future Hall of Famer Mike Trout, who is still on their current roster. We're going to embark on a new chapter for the Angels. We are going to gut this team and rebuild it through the draft, also signing undrafted players as free agents, and then the very rare trade for prospects trade, and that will happen in the very first season. I'll get to that in a minute. If you watch my Chicago White Sox draft-only franchise, then you know how all this works. One thing I will be doing differently this time around is we are going to fly through the early seasons at a much quicker pace. The first season is all about the Major League Draft and getting our first crop of draft picks onto our team, so we really don't care how the team does. Actually, we want them to play bad so we get a better draft pick. The second season, we replaced the entire Major League roster with Rule 5 draft picks. We cut everybody off the 40-man roster and then replaced the 26 Major Leaguers with Rule 5 draft picks. And since very few of those players will be making an impact in our success, I will be playing those first seasons with those Rule 5 draft players at the same very quick pace. We will slow down once we get a group of prospects that can all play together at the Major League level and replace those Rule 5 players. So we'll start going through seasons in about 3 episodes at a time until we can get to the playoffs. And then once we get a playoff caliber team, then we will do the season in 3 episodes, and then the postseason, each round of the playoffs would be its own individual episode. So, and if this kind of rebuild is new to you, I would suggest going back and watching my White Sox rebuild. Link to the playlist is in the description. I would also highly recommend watching Fiend Franchise's draft-only content here on YouTube. I put a link to his channel in the description as well. He's got very good content, highly recommended, and you can see how he does his draft-only franchises. So now it's time to get to work and tear down the Angels so we can rebuild them into World Series champions. And there are a few things we need to cover before we get into the first real episode of this draft-only franchise. First of all, let's go look at the roster. And what's most important is all of these guys on the 40-man roster, we have to cut at the end of the season. And the bad part of it, you're going to see prospects like Kyron Paris, Christian Moore, down here, Caden Dana, Spencer Aldegari. There's just a bunch of guys that we could use, but we're not going to be able to because we have to cut them since they are on the 40-man roster. And what that does mean is there are a few players that we can look forward to using down the road. George Clausen, 23-year-old, 66 overall, see potential starting pitcher. He's not on the 40-man. He'll be available. Tyler Bremner, their number 1 draft pick from this past summer. I'm using a end of the season live roster that's been modified to put players that were injured and not on the 40-man and not on the Major League roster back on the 40-man, back on the Major League roster. But Tyler Bremner was their first round pick this last summer. So 21-year-old, 64 overall, B potential starting pitcher. We also have Victor Medeiros, 23-year-old, 62 overall, C potential. And Sandy Gaston, 23-year-old, 61 overall, C potential. Catching side, we have Dario Laverde, 20-year-old, C potential, 60 overall. Shortstop, we do have Denzer Guzman, 21-year-old, 63 overall, C potential. And in center field, we have Nelson Rada, 19-year-old, 68 overall, C potential. And so you can see we are really bare when it comes to the position player side of things. And one thing we do allow in this type of franchise is we're going to make one big trade before we get started. We're going to trade off at least one of our best players and try and get one of the best prospects back to try and build around. If you go under the top prospects list here, you can see Jesus Made, 17-year-old shortstop for the Brewers. We also have Ethan Holiday, 18-year-old shortstop for the Rockies, and Walker Jenkins, 20-year-old right fielder for the Twins. And I've pretty much made my mind up that we're going to go and make a deal with the Brewers and get Jesus Made. Since he's 17 years old, it means he's going to have an extra year to develop. He is a switch hitter. And you can see he's got decent contact for an A-ball player. Really good defense, really good speed and stealing. So I'm going to build around him. Shortstop's one of the hardest positions to get a consistent player. So we're going to get him. He's going to be our main prospect that we're going to add to the team. And to facilitate this trade, we're going to send Zach Neto, our starting shortstop, 24-year-old B potential, 89 overall, to Milwaukee for Jesus Made. 1-for-1 trade. I thought about trading Mike Trout, but that'll eat up most of their budget. And in a test run that I did for this, both Neto and Trout were optioned to the minors and taken off the, not even put on their 40-man roster. So I didn't think that was very realistic, especially for Mike Trout. We'll see what they do with Neto. But we're going to make this 1-for-1 trade. We'll get this 17-year-old shortstop that we can grow into the starting player. And hopefully they will actually use Zach Neto. And now because of that, we need to add a man to the 40-man roster for the Angels. And we're going to add Scott Kingery so he can go up and play shortstop with Oswaldo Peraza in the major leagues. There we go. And we'll put him to major leagues. Move Made to Double-A. And that should take care of their needs on the 40-man roster and at the major league level. Also, one of the things we need to do is go into our staff contracts and our coaches. I don't know that these ratings mean anything in the sim. I think they only take effect when you're playing the games, which we're not going to be doing right away. So we're going to just get rid of guys that, one, cost a lot, two, have these positive. We want to give them all negative so the team is not good at all on the major league level. But we will look for a good farm director to try and help those minor league players when we do happen to step in and play with those guys. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the guys off here I don't want, add guys in that I do, and I'll be right back. All right, here are the new coaches, manager, farm director guys. A lot of them we put them in for 2 years because we want to get through this first season plus the first year with the Rule 5 guys, and then we'll reevaluate at that point. But see all these guys except for the one right here has a +1 on home runs per 9, but everybody has negatives. We want our team to do bad, so we get high draft picks. And then this farm director has +2 clutch, +2 bunting, +1 to blocking. I was trying to get some with contact or power, but he's the best one we can deal with. And if we have to, he doesn't cost that much. We want to fire him and find someone better next year or the year after that. And on the scouting side, we have David Quinn with 96 efficiency, 96 pitchers. Stuart Novak, 97 efficiency, 95 position players, and Bryant Parrish with 95 discovery. And if you've watched Fiend Franchise at all, you know this is how he sets up his scouts, and it has worked very well for me in the past. So we're going to stick to that situation here where we specialize and have one guy that's just going to discover every week, and hopefully he can find us some really good prospects, especially hitters, and get our starting lineup set for the future. So that's going to take us to spring training, and this will be the end of this episode. We will have the entire season in the next episode, episode 1, and we will highlight the draft, especially in that one. We will work through Major League and minor league seasons pretty quickly because the results of that really is irrelevant. It's what we can do in the draft. So I will walk you through the guys we find, the guys we discover, and get us ready for that first draft. And you'll get to see that in that episode as well. And then we'll get through all of that, and we will then go into the next season, and we'll begin that season with a Rule 5 draft to get to see all the guys we're going to add on the Major League side and get everything ready for Season 2. And then, again, focus Season 2 is going to be on the draft and getting players into the system. And we will check in on the Major League side and show how they're doing. But our main focus is going to be what our prospects are doing in the minors and get us going forward so we can get as many of them up to the majors as possible. So the first few years are just going to be one episode each. We'll fly through them quick. And then once we have players that are Major League ready, we'll slow things down and let you enjoy the players on the team and enjoy the journey. So that's going to be it for this one. Thank you guys for all your support. Like the content, please like, subscribe, comment, share it out, hit that notification bell so you know when the next one goes live. And I will see you very soon with Season 1 of the LA Angels Draft Only franchise. You guys take care.